Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Dear Anybody, a collection of letters written by my late father Jimmy Hodge and his son Kevin Hodge. He wrote them in 1999 to commemorate the sort of start of the millennium at the end of the year, so I'm just using his medium. He wrote and compiled them all into a big book, and I'm just taking each day as I can, maybe a couple of days combined sometimes, just to sort of remind us what happened 26 years ago. It's the 23rd of April, which he said was St George's Day, and I have no reason to disbelieve him. And he was saying there was a few things. One was about flying flags, another was about a local boys football team, and then there was a black day for computers. Anyway, starting with, he said he was looking at flags flying on Rochester Castle, and he wondered, who was it has the job of putting them up, and in his sort of reporter's instincts were that he'd like to find out who does it, how long they've done it for, how long does it take to do, and all those sorts of silly things really. Although sadly news seems to be a bit more the need for hard-hitting news, doesn't it really? He also found out that a local boys football team were being asked to spend £400 a year to use a secondary school football pitch, which he felt was, let's face it, a council thing, owned by the council, owned by the people, and yet you had to sort of pay to use your own facilities really, which he found us a little bit odd. Then apparently next Monday, I don't know what that date would have been, but he said that it could be a black day for people with computers because there was some virus going to be let loose on Monday, a bit like the millennium bug, which never really turned out to be a problem, did it? And then sadly there was a slightly detracting story about how there was some bowel disease problem caused by an organism in water which couldn't be easily detected. So don't know whether that ever came to anything, but that was exercising people in 26 years ago. But as he said, ever as we the English are ever the optimists, I have no doubt that our computers will come through without damage on Monday. A solution will be found to the water problem, and of course we shall win the war. And I think he was referring to the Balkans will eventually. So not too much to report on that day. St George's Day, flags flying, and how was that done? Sometimes using secondary school facilities which are often available. I remember many years I was a chairman of a local badminton club, and we had to pay for the use of a sports hall, which I suppose was just extra income, and I suppose it would be inconceivable that you'd have just used it for a peppercorn rent, but we paid lots of money over many years, I think, to schools. But that was it for today and St George's Day. I don't know if it's St George's Day today. I didn't know it was. Anyway, if it's the 23rd every year, it's the 23rd today. Thanks for watching, listening, subscribing, whatever you're doing, and you have a good day. Take care.